Hey everyone, and welcome back to Across the Neurodivide. This is the podcast where myself and the fabulous Tigger Pritchard.
Hi everybody, welcome.
This is the podcast where we look at things from both ends of the spectrum, if you like, where myself as a neurotypical person and Tigger as an awesomely autistic, neurodivergent human being, we discuss the things that matter. How's your Christmas? Well, we'll get to Christmas in a minute. How have things been going for you, Tigger?
Happy New Year to everybody. I hope the holidays were good to you all. I know they're complex from individuals, and we are going to come to that. And all the best for 2022. I must confess, I do have a very positive feeling about this year. I think a lot of us are going to grow, certainly learn and grow. But I just feel positive about. Anyway, I like the numbers 222. Yeah, so I like the way 2022 sounds. Sounds like 2021 to me. I'm one of those guys that when you turn the remote up, it's got to be an even number. Yeah. You know, 38 is far better than 35. That kind of stuff. Yeah, 2022 itself just feels better to me, and that gives me a degree of positivity that I haven't had for a number of years, really. That and everything going on. So to everybody out there, I hope 2022 is really kind and really good to you all.
Amen to that. So before we go any further, what would be really helping is if you guys would hop on now, hit like, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and you'll know when we've got new episodes Across the Neurodivide going up, and also any other new content on the channel. The other big thing is we rely on your questions with this show. So we sometimes discuss things that are personal, and that will be this week definitely taking place. But we will always address your questions. If you've got them and you'd like us to talk about your questions on the channel, go and put it in the comments. And even if you don't want to ask a question, stick a thumbs up in there or something like that that just says you're enjoying the show. So it's been a month. We do this on a monthly basis generally, and we've had Christmas and we've had the New Year and everyone's gone back to school. But I was talking to Tigger, and Tigger was saying that he'd had some challenges over the Christmas break. And as I thought about it, I thought it translates to more than just Christmas. This can translate to any kind of event, really, when you've got birthdays or even Mother's Day, Father's Day, Easter, all these kind of events. Talk to us, Tigger. What was it that happened over the break for you?
I think we can all acknowledge that for many individuals, especially neurodivergent individuals, a change of routine for some can be devastating. Christmas, though, looked forward to awesomely, at the same point can be kind of like, oh no, because things change and we have to change our routines. We have to do new things and go to parties, spend time here, do stuff there, wrap presents. There's a lot of demands around Christmas as well, expectations around Christmas. There's a lot of changes around Christmas. And I'm far more conscious now as I get older. I've got this little note section on my phone that is literally all about Tigger, and I'm adding to it about recognizing, what sensory issues get to me now and again, the stims I love and other stuff and so on. And changes I don't like that I know are minor pinpricks to me. The reason I keep that bit on my phone is because I'm trying to be aware of the fact that I don't get pushed too far, so that I get ill. I feel too stressed. I feel too anxious. I'm trying to make sure that doesn't happen. So I'm trying to be more aware of what gets me with regards to anxiety and so on. So Christmas is a time I try and prepare for, because there's lots of changes there. There's lots of expectation levels. It is a great time to give and receive presents. I adore Christmas. My flat that I live in is just covered in gorgeous Christmas decorations. One of my earliest childhood influences was Scandinavian, so that really had an effect on how I celebrate Christmas. If you follow me on any of my pages, you'll see there's loads of stuff, handmade Christmas trees, all the rest of it. I love Christmas, but I love Christmas to a certain degree here, or whatever environment I'm in, because I'm in control of it, and that reduces my anxiety levels and so on and so forth. On Christmas Day as well, for the past number of years and on other occasions as well, I really do prefer to know what I'm getting for Christmas. Now, I know this sounds really strange, but wow, does it reduce my anxiety. I can go through many examples in the past, and you might know this one as well, where somebody's given me a present and I've had to mask straight away. Inside I'm going, oh my God, this is revolting. Oh, this is the last thing I want. And the outside you're going, oh, thank you so much. That's really cool. Yeah, I'll definitely use it. It's great. I have to go back to a family occasion many years ago where I was given a present. I better not be too descriptive here, just in case, where I was given a present and it was vile. It was vile. And I think I actually said in a moment of unguardedness, I don't really like that. The journey back with my parents in the car, no one spoke. The offending item went in my bedroom and stayed there for quite a long time because they insisted that it did as some kind of, you shouldn't be so rude.
You'd have hated, right, because back in Australia with my group of friends, they all had, it was before I had kids, they all had loads of kids. And so Christmas was just this stupidly expensive time of ridiculousness. So to combat that, we had this, we called it Crappy Christmas. And the idea was that rather than spending a fortune on each other, you had a $5 limit. So it's Australia, it's dollars. And you had to buy something that was just awful, just specifically awful. But there were rules and you had to use whatever you were given. So like one year I got a leopard skin steering wheel cover and seatbelt covers. They're just horrible stuff that you just cringe at. And every year you tried to outdo everybody else for just how brilliant what you got was. It led for some amazing stuff. My favourite was a book I got given called What Shat That, which was a ladybird style book of different animal feces.
It's amazing. Would love that actually because they love animals. They'd work it out, maybe. Yeah. About Christmas and birthdays. I mean, my idea of heaven is knowing every single present I'm getting. Now, once I know what I'm getting, the run up to Christmas is heaven. Yeah. My excitement around Christmas morning is great. I mean, I've got to the extent where I said one year, because of, recycling and save the planet, so you don't really have to wrap it up. And that was a step too far for the people I was with. No, we do have to wrap it up. It's Christmas. Okay, fine. But I know what I'm getting. Don't waste the paper. Really, I'm fine. All right. I'd be so happy with a bag. Yeah. Just had everything in it, unwrapped. I could pick it out as I wanted, say thank you. I'd be in heaven. So knowing what I get, this is what I'm getting to, knowing the presents I get for Christmas is what I love. Other people sometimes get it, sometimes they don't, because people equate a Christmas with surprises, seeing your reaction, people saying thank you, people buying the right thing that somebody loves, and so on and so forth. God, I love getting presents. Who wouldn't? But I love getting the presents I want, getting a present I don't want. I mean, how can I say this? And it sounds really, really ungrateful, but if you buy me something I don't want it, it's a surprise. In my head, I think, what could you have bought? Why didn't you ask me? I'm not going to use this. Should I tell you I'm not going to use this? I'm going to throw it away. I might put it in the bin. I've had presents and taken them straight to charity shops. Yeah. And just gone, I don't want them. And then I feel really bad inside and like, I wish I didn't feel that way, but why didn't you ask me? So I often say to people, ask me. Now, I'm not saying every surprise is horrible. I got some surprises for the post the other day. It was a calendar. I had a little Yoda jigsaw puzzle, like 1,000 pieces. And they kind of arrived. To a certain degree, I was on my own. And I didn't have any stress with opening them. And I felt really great about that. That wasn't too bad. Maybe it's the people present. So my usual run-up that I love to Christmas is I know what I'm getting.
On that, is that the anxiety created by worrying how you're going to react? Like you said, you had that moment of unguardedness and you responded, what am I going to do with that? Is it the fear of going down that path that creates that anxiety? By knowing what you're getting, your reaction ahead, and it gives you that extra sense of control, knowing that you're not going to fuck up, I guess.
Part of it is the disappointment in getting something you don't want. There is also the fact that then I don't want to hurt people's feelings, so I know I'm going to have to mask. Masking in itself takes effort and time, and it isn't me, so I'm not being authentically autistic Tigger and so on. So that takes energy and spoons, if I can use that term, away from me, and it hurts.
So explain. I want to explain this. Anyone who's watching who maybe from my neurotypical world, you may not understand the concept of spoons. I love it. It's something that I've come to understand. And so the idea is that you've got so many spoons available to you, and every time you give something of yourself or a challenged or experience, you're giving away a spoon. And so you've got no spoons left, and that's when you hit meltdown, shutdown, anything like that. So gathering your spoons back is that element of recharging, if you like. So just to explain that, so that people
we'll put some, because there's spoon theory, there's fork theory as well. So I'll put those links in. They're all similar. They're all really good. But it's that thing of having that. It just gives too much. So part of it is I've got to mask what I feel inside. Part of it is why didn't you ask me? I just love to get something I want, and I don't want this. So part of it is He's also, I think, being very selfish. I would love to have had some. I'd love to have something I want. I'm over the moon. When you give a present, you really want that person to love the present you're giving, because part of giving that present isn't just giving the present to somebody and spending the time wrapping it up and making it look cool and so on and so forth. It's seeing that person's face. Yeah. So you're also looking for that feedback back where someone goes, oh my God, this is so cool. And you love it, because we love that, don't we? You know, I love doing that when I give presents. So more often I ask what people want, because it just makes it easier as well. Again, if I'm choosing presents, I'm useless at choosing presents. I cannot do it. I'm really bad at giving presents. I find it really difficult. Sometimes I'll go off the deep end and buy things that are just silly. I brought a camera once, my partner, a camera, a lens, all this kind of jazz, and I really got on the wrong end of the stick that she liked photography. She did. And I spent all this money. I was like, oh. And I just didn't work it out properly. I just went, oh, I'll get that. And off I went and researched it and went online and hyper-focused on it for a while and got it wrong. And that in itself, it
hurts, doesn't it? I know that from, when you see someone, when I see my kids open something, I've got a tattooed memory, if you like, of my childhood. And I remember, my brother and I both wanted tracksuit trousers for ages. And my parents, who at the time, my parents were not well-to-do kind of thing, and they'd gone out and they got these tracksuit trousers for us, but they were the wrong ones. We wanted specifically, this is back in the sort of 70s, so it was the ones with the two white stripes down either leg, down the side of either leg. That was what we wanted. I don't know why. That was the specifics. And these were kind of like what would be cool now. They were just sort of plain-looking tracking trousers. And we were like, oh, that's not what we wanted kind of thing. And I hate it, because I remember that thinking, oh, that must have been a suckful moment for my parents, as they watched us both open what they thought we were going to love.
And it's like, oh. And but I mean, it's so it is, isn't it? It's that we want to give, we want to receive, we want those reactions as well. We want to get it right. And I want people to get it right, because it works then both ways, doesn't it? I'm really happy. You bought me the present. You're really happy. It's great communication. It works. Yeah. So you have this thing where, we have our existence, we look after ourselves, we take care of our spoons, they'll be in the links, or forks or whatever, and we just make sure we're okay. We prepare for changes. So I knew that, if I can call it pinpricks to my levels of anxiety, Christmas was coming up. Christmas and New Year, there'd be lots of changes. The timetable changes, schools close, there's shops are everywhere, open with all this kind of jazz. There's parties to go to, all the rest of it. There's a lot of changes, Christmas Day coming up and so on. So I was preparing for that. And early on, somebody had said to my partner, look, I've got Tigger an extra present. And I think I knew this in maybe November. And I was like, right, okay. Now, this person historically is really good. They are great. They know me really well. They research me. And to be honest, when they brought me surprises, they've got it right. And they haven't been too complex. I had a Mandalorian T-shirt once, and I was over the moon with that. And it came as a surprise. And I went upstairs and just like, okay, right, I really like this. It's a bit of a shock, but right, okay, but I really like this. For a bit of a shock, okay. And then processed it really quickly. So on the whole, there'd been a history of, but I remember I said to my partner, look, I don't know why this, Christmas, all the rest of it's going, the rest of it, I'm really anxious about this one. Can you please check what it is? And it's like, oh, but they really want to get you a surprise. I was going, yeah, I know, but they do know that they do know now I'm not that good at surprises. And I went, look, okay, but I need to know what it is. And so my partner went and checked, and they went, look, he will love it. Don't worry, but I'm not telling you what it is, but he will love it. So came back, and she went, look, you're going to love it. And what happened then was my anxiety went boom. There was this, so I started to focus upon this one present. I didn't know what it was. So that automatically raised my anxiety. I knew everything else I was getting. And I was really happy. My marzipan I get on Christmas Day. On Christmas Day, I eat a block of marzipan. It's terrible. It's tradition as far as I can say. Oh, I love it. Marzipan and coffee. I'm like, yes. And there's going to be loads of people saying, don't eat marzipan. I love it. Or people agreeing that marzipan is lush.
I like marzipan.
Oh, whoa. So I get a block on Christmas Day. So I asked one person, can you get me a block of marzipan? And he just went, yeah, cool. Whatever it is, £3. Over the moon, easy present. I'm like, oh yes, and I'm in heaven. Yeah. So Christmas morning, Christmas afternoon, went to this person's house, and present exchange happened. And to be honest, I'm like, Part of me is, I don't want to be here. There's a lot going on. People are opening things. I've got stuff. Hope they like it. Wish I could have got more. All the rest of it. But it was a lovely experience. And I got my presents, and I thought, oh yeah, here we go. Here's 3 little whiskey bottles. I wasn't expecting those. I like my whiskey, as you know.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, that's great. That's cool. And I thought that was it, because she knows I like whiskey and bourbon. And I thought, not a problem at all. And this is even now I can feel my tension rising. This is fascinating, actually. All of a sudden, this huge box appeared. This huge package in Christmas paper appeared, and they handed it to me. My anxiety levels, for want of a better phrase, went through the ceiling.
Yep.
I panicked. I started to feel sick. I held it, and I think my first words were, no, 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 sorry, no, no. That's how you want someone to receive a present, isn't it? No, sorry, no. Every single alarm bell went off in my body. My anxiety went through the ceiling, to use that expression. I got very anxious and very frightened. I had no idea what it was. It was just big, and it was quite heavy. And I was like, it was like, two shoe boxes together, yeah? And I just went into and look, I'm pausing now, aren't I? I went into a state of almost like shock and fear, and I didn't know what it was. I couldn't even guess what it was. Over the years, sometimes I'd try and guess what presents were to hide the stress I was going through and so on. I just had it on my lap. I just sat on the floor looking at it, and I just held it for ages. Everybody else got on with their presents, and I just sat there. And then I'm thinking, oh my God, they're going to want me to open it. They're going to want me to give the reaction to see what it is. I have no idea what it is. All I know is that I didn't expect this, and it's very big and it's heavy, which I'm not saying equates with expense, as it could be a bag of sand or something. Yeah, but you know what I mean? I was like, I know. And I was like, this person's really thought about this. I am now petrified. So I didn't open it for several minutes. And then I opened the corner. I lifted it up. I looked at it. People were looking at me, because they want to see that response. So the pressure, the demand pressure alone is huge, yeah? Let alone the fear is running from my soul. I don't know what it is. And forgive me here, I opened up a corner and I saw the Lego logo. And I think I started to shake. I opened a little bit more, and I knew straight away what it was. And it is something I've got on an eBay search. Well, no longer, actually. I've had an eBay search for years. I've watched videos of people putting it together. I've spoken about it. This awesome young person that got me this, her boyfriend's got it. And I've been to his place, and I've just stood there going, and I've told her about it's Apollo Saturn V. Yeah, it's an Airfix Apollo Saturn V with 1,969 pieces. And it's quite expensive. And it's something I've wanted. It is something I've wanted from the minute I knew it existed. She knows about it. I joked with my partner and said, when we live together, you're going to have an Apollo Saturn V somewhere in the house. And she's like, no, we're not. We're not, Tigger. We're not. I've already got an old Airfix model. I've got an Airfix model from the 1970s, unmade. So that's how much. The first public talk I ever did was with the Saturn V rocket. I was maybe 8 or 9. I was at school. I took it into school. I told everybody about the stages, the thrust, all the rest of it. It goes to the minute, and all that comes back is the command module at the top. That was my first ever public talk, which I think Mr. Morris was his name. I did in a class at junior school. So it's kind of part of my soul, yeah? Mm. But this is the reaction I had afterwards. I had a mini meltdown. I started to cry. I started to shake. I started to feel sick. I was just, no. I'm sorry. I can't accept this. I can't do this. I stood up. The family around me, I think, were a little bit shocked, but they also gave me the space to walk around the room. I went into the kitchen. I almost delved straight into one of those little whiskey bottles, but didn't. Boom, I would have drowned it in one. I was just shocked. I felt sick. I cried. This is all from a present that I wanted. Yeah. But the shock of it, the fact that I didn't know it was going to happen, I still haven't opened it. It's sitting next to the side of me here. I haven't opened it yet and put it together. I said to somebody, at the moment, as I enter my flat, it's in my peripheral vision, and that's helping me process that I've got it still. And where are we now? January the 12th, yeah? Yeah. So I'm still peripherally processing that I got that present. And at some point, I will spend the 3 or 4 hours it takes, and I'll put it together, and I'll be over the moon. But I don't know when that's going to be. It might be a month. It might be more than a month. So for me, getting something I want, something I've really wanted from the minute I first found out about it. I mean, this person really thought this present through, and she was right. I wanted this more than anything. But the shock of getting it, the not knowing I was going to get it, it just completely and utterly threw me and caused me, I mean, to the extent where that and other pressures, I had a mini shutdown last weekend where I just, I came back, I think early after Christmas. I just, my spoons, as you'll research them, they'd gone completely. I had to get back here to be in my ultra safe space. And it was all because I'd got a present that I love.
Yeah.
But I wasn't expecting it. And the surprise was just too much for me.
Sorry, there's so much insight there into what you went through. I draw it back to, seeing the experiences of, Christmas for my kids. And I think Christmas, I think this is the same for birthdays. It's the same for any other event. And it is difficult. And the biggest challenge I personally find is putting aside my personal preferences in for accepting and acknowledging and adapting to other people's preferences, because I like surprises. To get something I wasn't expecting and to be able to open it and it's something I love, I'd be like, way, but because that's me. And for my daughter, no, it's totally different, and she's very similar to you in that way. The idea that she needs to know, she can't keep secrets, because the idea that in itself is a demand. I have to keep it secret. Two, it's an anxiety of, I know something, it all just creates so much tension. So it's very difficult for buying other people presents, because she can't keep the secret. I can't let her know what she's bought her mum. It's that kind of situation. It's very difficult. But that in itself is then a surprise for her when it's also muddled up. It's that the idea that I've had to drop my preconceived notions of what it's almost like someone once said to me that, being a husband, being a father, if you're doing it right, it's like it's a constant decision process of what you're going to give up today to make everybody else happier. And having neurodivergence into my life through my wife, through my daughter, has really taught me what that means. And it is things like, okay, Christmas, we won't have surprises necessarily. She's not quite at the same level as you. It may be something that she develops into, I think. But it's that thing of, if she's prepared for it, it's just much calmer for her. I see straight away the anxiety comes right down. It's not the same stress. She knows what she's getting. And it's almost like she's able to prepare for what she's not getting as well. So, kids and Christmas lists and birthday lists, they spend the month before Christmas.
In the old days, well, not so many old days, here's the Argos catalogue, and I'll circle everything I want, yeah?
Yeah, it's the Amazon now. The Amazon app has replaced the Argos catalogue.
But it's interesting, because when I work with families, or, consult with families, individuals, all that kind of stuff, and over all these years, one of the conversations I had, and we've had this before, is an awful lot of the angst, if I can use that term, the anxiety that's created in so many situations is by the history of cultural expectations.
Yeah,
that we have to have everybody sits around the table at mealtime, or you must brush your teeth before you go to bed. We've had this before. Or the fact that but I mean, there was a lovely bit on one of the, I think it was PDA parenting, I can't remember now, where somebody has shared the fact that they got to the point where they can put the Christmas tree up and so on, but everybody's presents are unwrapped under the tree. So even the demand of somebody else opening up a present was way too much for this child and their family. They just put their presents under the tree. Everybody knows what they've got 3 or 4 days before Christmas, and it's fine. And that's their Christmas day, yeah? And
that's exactly. And it's that thing of, and it's a natural thing to do. I put my preferences onto things, not because I'm being selfish, actually, because it's the opposite. I want people to, it's the old, you go to the biblical adage, treat others as you treat yourself. And it's that sort of thing. Well, if I like this, then therefore it's a natural, it's not even conscious, I don't think. You naturally put across, well, if I like this, somebody else must like it. If, and you can go ahead and do that. And that's the issue. So, what I've had to learn is actually just because I like something doesn't mean my family like it. And if
you said that bit about keeping things up as a father, I think as one of the things I often say to neurotypical individuals is just drop it. It's not that important. The all sitting at the table. It's not that important. The doing this, doing that. The Christmas Day routine. It's important to you because it's historical, and your parents did it, your grandparents did it, and so on and so forth. And society, culture expects that we do it. In Britain, there are different, cultures that express and celebrate in different ways. But that expectation level is. But this is what we do, isn't it? No, it's not. It's thinking outside that box.
Yeah, exactly. One of the things, it's like I remember my dad, with the Christmas tree, my dad, or he has a Mickey Mouse that always goes on top of the tree, and it was his own tradition that he sort of introduced in. And he said that you'll find yours when when you grow up. This is when I was a kid. When you grow up and when you've got a family, you'll find your tradition that makes it your uniqueness. And I think that's it. And it's accepting that different isn't bad. We say that about all forms, neurodivergence. We talk about it with disabilities. We talk about it with just people in general. It's a good thing to be unique. And I think sometimes we feel, I feel a sense of guilt that suddenly it's that much different and other people may not understand or get it. But actually, that's not my problem. My goal on the Christmas Day, or my goal on my daughter's birthday, my goal on any birthday, on any event, is going to be that my family have the best time they can. And if that means adapting to their needs for that specific day, that's what I've got to do. And that's an act of giving in itself.
Oh, yeah, very much so. And I think when people realise that, it makes that thinking outside the box so much easier. Somebody the other day said something like, if you look at, the neurodivergent percentage of the population, it's like 1 in 28 or 30 or something. And when you look at, being autistic, ADHD, so on and so forth. And so I think that we've continued as a society for so long, drilling it into families. This is what you should do. This is what you should do. This is what you should do. And so many families are realizing that they can have a beautiful moment in time by thinking outside the box, by still giving, but that family that changed their Christmas where all the presents are open, they are giving each other such a beautiful Christmas because they're reducing the anxiety that's there for everybody. That's such a beautiful present and give, isn't it? Yeah.
Exactly it.
But so many families, so many individuals, I think, are weighed down by but isn't it what we're supposed to do? And the strength to leave that box behind is really difficult for so many families. It's an awful lot of what I do. I've seen a lot of stuff on your pages about it as well. It's giving people the understanding to actually go, well, actually, I don't have to do it this way, and I'm not going to do it this way. And again, the problem you have is that some people get that and some people don't. Some family members, some of the family members get it, some of the families don't. In my own families, and friends, I've got people that go, why can't we just give you a surprise?
Yeah.
And I'm going, I just would like to know what I'm getting. Is that all right? But jumping outside that box, the difference it can make to a whole of that family group is so powerful and so beautiful. Yeah. And I think, and a lot of what we're going to see in the future, because people are realizing it's what you've got to do.
I think I take it a step back even further. It's not even just about major events. Like, we think of Christmas, we think of birthdays, we think of, Mother's Day, Father's Day, all, other people's birthdays, that kind of stuff. But actually it can be any event, even a small one, just having a get together with friends, inviting people over. So we've had it recently where my son's having more friends over to, just sit and play on the PlayStation and do that kind of stuff. He's at that age where he wants and needs to socialize. But the impact that has on my daughter as well is considerable because there's suddenly extra people in the house. There's another level of buzz and going on and anxiety. And if she just wants to be a bit insular, it's much harder to do when you've got people there all the time. And it's trying to keep these things in check as well. So, it's a whole seesaw thing. You've got to, as a dad, I've got to sort of bridge there because I've got to consider both sides. And that's for me the biggest challenge is because we're a mixed household of neurodivergence. becomes more of a balancing act. And for myself, I can make that sort of decision too. This isn't about me. This is about everybody else. But for my son, he's 6. He doesn't have the capacity to, and I can. We talk about it a lot. It's actually something I take the time to do with my son. Is that he'll often say, "Why is that's not fair?" And I have a constant conversation. It's one of those things that I just keep saying it because at some point it's going to just become part of his understanding. But that's that your sister is just processes the world differently to you, and things that you will get on every day with, she might struggle with. But likewise, there are things that you can do that she's unable to do. It's a equal sort of thing, but it's in different ways.
But what's gorgeous there is it's that education. It's enabling younger.
Well, I tell you,
just different.
He's got a little mate at school, and his mate has 2 mothers, and this is the only kid in the class, as far as I know, potentially the school, that's in that situation. And the mum was saying to me, the great thing is he got together with Kurt, and he was like, "Oh, I've got 2 mums," and Kurt was like, "Oh, okay, cool," and just got on with it. There was it didn't register with Kurt that may not be typical. It was just, oh yeah, that's just a different family doing it their way, whatever. And it really encouraged me. It was a real warm moment for me to know that I think because of my son having to adapt to my daughter's differences in this world, he's much more accepting of all differences in this world. I think there's a richness to that that's coming through as a result.
We're still forced into this, what a family should be like, and you've still got those expectation levels from a lot of different environments, professionals, education, better not go there, where, it is, this is what it's supposed to be like, I know. And it's, we are, one thing I think the pandemic has changed because of Zoom and Teams and all those platforms is so many people's voices are out there and so many people are learning. It's really outdated now to think of sitting around the table, 4 square meals a day, 3 square meals a day, and all that stuff that, the 2.4 kids, whatever it is, and a dog and a cat and so on, that we've got to really think outside those boxes. And I do feel that's something that is changing because of the situation we've been in globally recently, where people are realizing that you don't have to. I mean, so many people, I think now, because of what we're doing, and so many others out there doing as well, are realizing that an awful lot of anxiety in their lives is created by, but I thought this is what you do, and now sharing that and sharing it with children. I've got such, the hope for the next generation coming through, those younger than you and I. It's huge because they've got role models out there. They're listening to old fogies like ourselves. There are people. I know, I'm older than you. So for neurodivergent individuals now growing up, friends understanding, peers understanding each other, all that's changing. That's so beautiful. It's a long journey, but it's so beautiful to see that out there. I know some schools across the country where, they're actively having tutorials about what it means to be neurodivergent, including people educating everybody in a classroom environment, and homes and families are doing the same. So you just accept that people are people, and that's gorgeous. Rather than, but no, it shouldn't be like that. Oh no, it's not like this, And it's that's why I think 2022 good numbers, but I do think there's a lot of positivity coming to this year, which I haven't felt for quite some time.
That's really encouraging to hear, and I think that makes so much sense in that, and there are a lot of changes coming, and I think that with those changes coming, there's that chance to make the changes for the better, and that's leaching into all this. Absolutely. What I want to say personally is thank you for sharing your side of it. It makes such a difference to me to be able to hear that first-hand experience, and it allows me to be able to look at my daughter and have a deeper understanding and appreciation for where she's at. It makes such a difference to me. And
I think it's one of those things where there are so many things in my life I couldn't share earlier because I didn't know how to. These platforms weren't available. There are, as you said, there are so many parents that, because there are so many awesome neurodivergent individuals out there and awesome advocates now sharing these stories. that insight is growing, and that's just so powerful. And
absolutely. And we want to hear your stories. If you've had to make adaptations for special events, for Christmas, for birthdays, for whatever, we'd love to hear about it, and to share that with everybody else, and your input can have that knock-on effect of potentially helping other people in the same situation. Please do chuck it in the comments, and please do just hit like, hit subscribe, ring the bell. It makes a huge difference to how YouTube send this out there with the algorithms and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, please do that. It'd be a personal favour to us. Tigger, I want to thank you so much for being so open and sharing with us again.
Thank you. I loved it. At some point, I'm sure you're going to put a picture of the Saturn V here. At some point, if people follow me, you'll see a picture of the Saturn V built. And I'll
when
be
it's complete, we'll have to put it on.
But I'll make sure I get a picture next time. So here's an update that the Saturn V is being built, because it will take several hours to do so. But thank you so much for listening. It's a journey, across this Neurodivide. It's a journey for us all, and be able to share that and learn. And that, to me, it's important to me, and it's really cathartic for me as well, I think, if I can use that term. And also, people do look at this guy in his mid-30s who's balding. Got the decade. Mid-50s who's balding or has balding. And they realise that, they look at somebody like you, look at your awesome daughter. These struggles are real. It's just that some of us have got a chance to put it into words where some haven't, but we're all learning, we're all growing, and that is gorgeous. So, yeah, subscribe, hit that like button. It'd be awesome. And send us in some questions. That'd be so cool. And thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We will see you again on the next episode, and there'll be lots more going on the channel in the meantime. In the meantime, stay safe.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.